A family is reeling after a mother was shot and killed in Chicago's Jeffrey Manor neighborhood. Her 13-year-old son also was shot, but he survived.
He said he was telling her, to hold, breathe, breathe. He's the one who called 911.
A mother and son now forever torn apart, and reality slowly setting in with family.
Just like that, some cowards took away from me just like that.
"41-year-old Kristin Carr was an amazing sister, daughter, and most importantly, an amazing mother to her 3 sons, ranging in ages 4 to 13 years old. Kristen always made sure her sons were on the right path and wanted for nothing. They meant the world to her, and she meant the world to them. Around 9:50 p.m. on November 25th, just one day after Thanksgiving, Chicago police responded to the 2300 block of East 100th Street in Chicago's Jeffrey Manor neighborhood on the far south side for reports of a shooting. Upon arrival, they would find a woman and a teenage boy suffering from gunshot wounds. The victim was identified as 41-year-old Kristin Carr and her 13-year-old son. Kristen, who was shot in the hip, was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center in critical condition, where she was sadly pronounced dead. Her 13-year-old son was also shot, suffering non-life-threatening injuries from a gunshot wound to the shoulder, and was later released from the Carr Children's Hospital, surrounded by grieving loved ones. Kristen was walking home from a convenience store as she was just about to meet her son, who wanted to meet her halfway, so she wouldn't have to walk the entire way alone. Out of nowhere, a black SUV pulled into the vacant parking lot of a church and began shooting, firing 28 rounds towards them, just steps away from their home. By noon the very next day, Kristen was one of 7 people killed and 13 injured in shootings across the city of Chicago. The day before she was killed, another 14-year-old boy was also shot in Jeffrey Manor. Kristen's family, especially her brother, affectionately known as her twin, was heartbroken, devastated, angry, and confused. Just 3 months prior, he and Kristen buried their father, and their mother passed away a few years ago. Now this, another loss for the family, as she leaves behind 3 sons, including a 4-year-old who is still waiting for his mother to come home. Kristen was supposed to turn 42 years old on Christmas Day, but instead of celebrating, her brother says the family will be mourning as police continue to search for her killer.
Now he's left to bury his only sibling and raise her son, who saw her final moments alive.
I can't believe my family is part of this circle of violence that you actually standing here talking to me. She didn't deserve this.
Luther Carr is in disbelief his sister, 41-year-old Kristin Carr, was murdered not too far from her house.
Man, that was my twin. Everybody, that's what we say, twin. She's my twin.
He says she left the house Friday night to go to the convenience store.
Went to go get her some cigarettes. So she was on her way back home and had called. My nephew was meeting her halfway, doing what a son do, make sure his mom was okay, And then, just like that, some cowards took away from me just like that.
Just before 8:30 at night, Chicago police say Carr and her 13-year-old son were walking through a vacant parking lot when a black SUV pulled up and a person inside started firing.
Neighbors heard me, and the friends came by to tell me what was going on. And from what I was told, it was 28 shots.
At least one bullet hit Carr. She was taken to University of Chicago Medical Center in critical condition and died a short time later. Her son was transported to Carr Children's Hospital in good condition.
I was told that my nephew was okay, so, I thought everything was okay. Went to the hospital to see about him. And literally 10 feet before I get in the hospital at Carr, I get a call from her friend saying my sister was shot also. Up all night, haven't been asleep. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to go to sleep for a while.
Less than 24 hours ago, his sister was killed, but he's also dealt with more deaths in the family. He says they just buried their father 2 months ago, and his mother passed away 2 years ago.
Wow, try not to cry.
Carr says he's hoping he'll find out why his sister was gunned down.
I don't know, I need answers, I need something, you know. My sister, she didn't deserve this. She was a great mother. Was always on her boys. Made sure they was on the right path.
She leaves behind 3 sons.
Say, Mama.
The youngest seen here now only 4 years old, still waiting on his mom to come home.
So I don't even know how you tell a 4-year-old. It won't go unanswered. You took somebody a lot of people love away from us for no reason.
As of right now, there have still been no arrests in the case, and the family, along with Chicago police, are encouraging anyone with information leading to an arrest to come forward. The case remains ongoing.